All right, so this is a little bit of the domain that we've been working on and just going through. So these are 2 problems from the extra practice. So in your practice worksheet packet, this is the back of the first page. So this function had a square root with it, and we know that we cannot take the square root of a negative. So that means that whatever is underneath this square root has to be non-negative, which means it has to be bigger or equal to 0. So I know that that's what happens because that's how functions work. That's how math works, right? And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to solve this. So I'm going to subtract 9 from both sides. Sorry, my little stylus doesn't seem to want to do that nicely for you. And when I divide through by a negative, you should have like alarm sounds going off in your brain, because dividing by a negative for an inequality tells you that your sign is going to flip over. So you end up getting t is less than or equal to positive 3. So that is my domain. So the first thing I was telling you guys to do was to throw it on the number line. Just make your life easier. Okay. I know that for this, in this case, I only have to deal with 3. And I know that it's going to be a filled in circle because it's less than or equal to. And since it's less than, I'm going in this direction. So I have my negative infinity and infinity. So my interval notation, I just want to go from negative infinity to 3. Negative infinity is not included here because it is a concept, not a number, so you have to break it to it softly with a soft bracket. My 3 is included, so it has a hard stop there and gets a hard bracket, okay? As far as set notation goes, that's the fancy math one, right? So you have a curly bracket, so you say the set of, you put what variable you're talking about. In this case, we are talking about t. Most of the time it's x, so just make sure you're paying attention to details. The set of t, and then you put that vertical line such that negative infinity is less than t, which is less than or equal to 3, and then you close that fancy bracket, okay? And in words, it's exactly what you want it to say, okay? You would say all real numbers. The pound sign actually means numbers, not just hashtag, okay? All real numbers less than or equal to 3. And then the shorthand of that is just the symbol for all real numbers and less than or equal to 3. Okay? So hopefully that helps. I'm going to do one more example if you'd like to see it. Do one where you have x in the denominator. That's the other thing we have an issue with, right? We know that whatever's in the denominator, it is not allowed to equal 0 because we can't divide by 0. So we want to pull this part out, and we want to see what value is going to cause this to happen, which means we need to solve the equation. So we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And then I'm going to divide by 2. Hopefully you guys are getting to the point where you can solve a good number of these in your head, or you can at least kind of estimate into the answer in your head. Again, I'm going to throw it on my number line, which starts at negative infinity and ends at infinity. I have a negative 2 here. In this case, this is a value that it cannot equal, so it is an open circle, but everything else is fair game. So now I have 2 intervals that I'm looking at here, okay? So for my interval notation, use a different color. For my interval notation, I'm going from negative infinity, again, not included, to negative 2. Negative 2 is not included, so you have to break it to it softly. And I'm going to union that with the other side from negative 2 to infinity. Okay? With my set notation, I'm going to do my curly bracket. I am using the variable x here, such that negative infinity is less than x, which is less than negative 2, as well as negative 2 is less than x, which is less than infinity, and close up that curly bracket. In words, we would say all real numbers except, sorry about that, -2. And our shorthand there would be all real numbers, and you're subtracting out the set of -2. All right, so I hope that helps, and let me know if you need anything else.